Hey, I am Phys Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, so let's get it in with a little bit of politics, right? Because this is where politics lives. Let's start off by talking about your boy Kanye West. Changed his name to Ye, because he claimed that was the word that's spoken most in the Bible. He was on a podcast where he said that signing Big Sean was the worst thing that he had ever did. He was upset because Big Sean and John Legend, who both are on his good music label, had came out against him when he made that pathetic attempt at running for president. And he said they allowed themselves to be used by the Democratic Party. Said it was some sellout-ish. That he did not rock with either of them. Also, that he was waiting for an apology. Niggas is scared. That's a quote. He's waiting for an apology. Quote, niggas is scared. Of what? Kanye West? Get out of here. Come on. First of all, he ain't even from Chicago. He's from the suburbs of Chicago. And I think his mom was a professor who knew No ID's mom real good. And he begged his mom to introduce him to No ID. And so his mom talked to her friend and hooked up a meeting between him and No ID, and No ID showed him some stuff or whatnot. So there's that. And a whole list of other things behind this guy. I'm like, what is the matter with him? You know, I get the fact that he's a billionaire, and a lot of this is just games to him. It's just publicity. It's all that. But come on, man. It's not a game to be out here supporting Trump. It's not a game to be out here with a MAGA hat on when, you know what I'm saying, when you've meant so much to so many people, myself included. But with that said, I guess I got to check myself too, because he's just a regular dude. He's just a regular man. Sure, he's Kanye West. Sure, he's made some great albums, all of that. But at the end of the day, he's a regular dude. And if he wants to be a dumb ASS, that is his business. And I need to let that go. And he's made of money, so he can definitely be a dumb ASS if he wants to be. It's a family show, so I'm trying not to curse. But you can see how I feel about that guy. But if he wants to be a buffoon and do some of the stuff that he's doing, I'm going to have to let that go. And he's allowed to do that because he's an individual, he's a person, and my views don't have to be his views, okay? Just because we share a skin color obviously does not mean that we share a mind state. And obviously, I think differently about a lot of things than Kanye West does. But guess what? He's an artist and I like his music. So why would I think that me and him would agree politically or socially or any other way? Right? That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? He's an artist. I dig his music. Doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with his politics, and I obviously don't. So there's that. And like I said, I had to check myself on that because I had a problem with that at first. But I was like, you know what? Nah, he's a regular dude. Sure, he's made of money. Sure, he's made some good music I like. But at the end of the day, he's like the guy around the corner who's, spouting a bunch of stupid rhetoric. Do I get mad at him? No. I just pray for that guy and I keep it moving. So same with Kanye West. I'm going to pray for that guy and I'm going to keep it moving. Moving on. Let's talk about how different people have different relationships with Lady Liberty. What do I mean by that? Check it out. Jamel Hill, who's a sports writer, said, it's not messaging, folks. This country just loves white supremacy. And what he was referring to was Winsome Sears, who's the first woman to hold the lieutenant governorship in Virginia, and she's also a black woman. And the way that she won, he was saying, was through her messaging. But her messaging is actually just her story and how she feels about Lady Liberty, right? So listen, check this out. Sears, a former Marine Corps member and a Jamaican immigrant, spent her campaign speech telling her supporters just how much she loved America. Here's a quote. She said, "I'm telling you that what you're looking at is the American dream. When I joined the Marine Corps, I was still a Jamaican. But this country had done so much for me that I was willing to die for this country." And there you go. That is her relationship with Lady Liberty. Now I get it. This Jamel Hill, guess what? I'm pretty much probably just like you, bruh. You don't have necessarily a positive relationship with Lady Liberty. Me neither. Me neither. And I bet if you talk to most people of color in this country, it has not been a positive relationship with Lady Liberty. But some of us have had. And this sister, obviously, right here, she had a great relationship with Lady Liberty, hasn't she? She was a Jamaican immigrant. She got into the armed forces. She had a positive experience there. Then she got out of the armed forces and she ran for office. And then she won when she ran for office. So now she's having a positive experience with our government. She is having a great relationship with Lady Liberty. So it should not baffle a person that she loves America, that she's gushing when she talks about this country and how she would die for it. I get it. Some of us have had that experience. Black people are not a monolith. Okay? All of us have not had negative experiences with the police. All of us have not had negative experiences with school. All of us have not had negative experiences with employers and work. Some of us have had extremely positive experiences in America, right? And that's when you get a lot of people, even, people of color poo-pooing like critical race theory and things like that. That's when you get that, I think it was the 1776 project coming out in opposition of critical race theory, because there are some black people whose experience in this country has been positive, and they want to make sure that people know that. And they want to make sure that just because of the color of their skin, they're not painted with a slavery brush or painted with the brush of oppression. That's all my people have experienced here and we could never move forward. Well, no, that's been the story of some of us, but me and my people were able to move forward. And there's that. Everyone is individual. Everyone's story is going to be different. So even as black people, even as people of color, we need to get up with that. Not every person that you see of color hates America. Not every person that you see of color has had bad run-ins with the police. Not every person that you see of color has had bad run-ins with the government or Lady Liberty. Some of us have had great relationships with Lady Liberty. Like I said, I say all of this not even being one of those people of color who's had a great relationship with Lady Liberty. I'm just saying that I recognize there are those of us who have, and I've talked to those brothers and sisters, okay? And a lot of them, they sound like any other conservative or any other person that you would talk to. They love this country, and this country has been right by them. It's done right by them. They did it, as they would say, the way it go, and they were successful. They went to school. They got a good job. They make good money. They don't run afoul of the government. They don't have run-ins with police. They live in a nice house. They drive a nice car. They eat nice food. They live a nice life. And they happen to be black. There you go. Or some other person of color. There's people who have that experience with Lady Liberty. And that's fine. So we can't poo-poo that. And as black people, we need to understand, it doesn't necessarily mean that those constituents were turned on by her gushing about America, or or viewed it as white supremacy. You got to think a lot of those people she was talking to have had that same experience with America, right? If you're not a person of color, you probably have had a positive experience with Lady Liberty. So why would she get up there and necessarily want to talk about a negative experience with Lady Liberty? Now, in her case, fortunately enough for her, that isn't the experience that she's had, so she could get up there and speak positively. But even if that had been her experience, why would she want to get up there and bum those people out with that? That ain't something they can relate to. They can relate to having a great time here in America. This is their country in their minds, right? So what she did was just good politics, but really it was her story, and we got to get up with that. Every person of color has not had necessarily a negative experience here in America. That is what it is, right? So moving on, let's talk about the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. It's finally, it's been passed. It's on its way to Biden's desk. I think by now, while I'm doing this recording, he's already signed it. It is what it is. There's good stuff in that bill. Down from $6.5 trillion. Progressives gave up a lot, but still a lot of good stuff was in the bill. Cori Bush, y'all know how I love her to pieces, accused Joe Manchin of being anti-black, anti-child, and anti-woman, and anti-immigrant. The Build Back Better bill focuses on climate change, child care, and medical care, Medcare. Joe Manchin claims he's afraid of giving Americans an entitlement mentality and also inflation. You know what I'm saying? He claims he's afraid of inflation, but he's really afraid of giving you Americans, or us Americans, an entitlement mentality. Joe Manchin, who lives on a yacht called Almost Heaven and who owns a coal company. He made $2 million last year from said coal company. He got rid of Medicare covering vision and dental for whatever reason. Joe Manchin doesn't want old people's vision and dental to be covered by Medicare. And he also doesn't like the clean energy program. Imagine that. A guy who owns a coal company doesn't like the clean energy program. Wanted to get rid of that. I mean, so come on. I mean, that's right in front of your face. You see what that is. You know what's up. I know what's up. You know what's up. Joe Manchin, he playing the game how he want to play the game because he got other interests at heart. So that is what it is. But that piece has passed. There's another piece that needs to pass, but I need to mess with the numbers or whatever because there's a lot of senators in there who are saying they didn't like the way it was going to be paid for or want to make sure that it's paid for. But Joe Biden said he was assured that they can get that through. The Democrats need to do something. They're not looking good right now. We just took that nosedive, or they just took, I'm an independent. They just took that nosedive in Virginia. And that's why they say we got to start looking like we're getting something done because the Democrats do have the majority, but as of yet, they're not getting too much done. Anyway, moving on. A new study finds that when you go to places with more Confederate statues, that there were more lynchings in these places. Who had to tell you that? This finding proves concrete and quantitative and historically and geographically situated evidence consistent with the position that Confederate memorializations reflect a racist history. Well, duh. If you see a whole lot of monuments to racism, was probably a whole lot of racist stuff going down in that place. So if you go to some of these towns and there's a Lynchburg or some of this other stuff, every other street that you look at is called something like that, General Ely Highway or something like that, or statues all over the place. Know that a lot of black people probably met their end through lynchings in this place because they're memorializing it. You know what I'm saying? They're celebrating that egregious and horrific and bloody and sad history. But yeah, the Daughters of the Confederacy, Google that if you never heard of them. They're the ones who perpetuated a lot of this stuff. Made sure that, the South shall rise and all that other crap and stuff that all of us got right on the, on the top of our heads. It's easy to come up with. You've heard this stuff before because of them gals. So, you know what I'm saying? Look that up, and as my brother would say, do the knowledge to that. But you'll see how that is perpetuated in this country. And, like Barack Obama said, a lot of these monuments, they need to be knocked down. As soon as they're knocked down, you immediately put it in a truck and you drive it to a museum. And that's where it needs to live, okay? Because this racist past, we don't want to forget it, okay? We need to remember this because if we don't study our history, we're what? We're doomed to repeat it. And that's what's going on now since we don't study this history, since they want to get rid of it. Ban critical race theory, which isn't being taught anywhere anyway. But anyway, that's another show. But since they want to ban stuff like that and not teach our history, we're doomed to what? Repeat it. So we can't forget that racist past. But what it is these monuments don't need to be on state house lawns and stuff like that. They need to be in a museum where people can go and they can learn about that so that we don't repeat it. Right. Moving on, let's talk about Caitlyn Jenner, who spoke out in support of Dave Chappelle and his Netflix special, The Closer. She said Dave Chappelle's 100% right. It's about woke cancel culture run amok, trying to silence free speech. We must never yield or bow to those who wish to stop us from speaking our minds. That's what she said. That's a whole bunch of malarkey, as our president, Mr. Biden, would say. She's saying that why she's running for office. She's running as a Republican. Of course, Republicans are demonizing what they call cancel culture and all this other crap. So, of course, she wants to get into this fight and say that, oh, Dave is right and it's 100% about, canceling free speech and cancel culture and blah, 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 blah. She's saying all that because it just plays for her good politically. Cut the games. You know what I'm saying? And really, she's a political lightweight anyway. She's trying to get into politics because she has name recognition. Everybody knows who she is. She's famous behind who she is, lightweight or whatever. So why not get into politics? That's what these people do. Especially on the right. I told a friend of mine who's been a staunch conservative all of his life. He's in his 50s or something. I told him, hopefully he'll see this show, or maybe this mighty may or may not see it. But I was telling him, I don't think there are any real Republicans left. You know, I mean, you got some old school Republicans, you got your Mitch McConnells and people like that. But a lot of these new Republicans, they're just opportunists. That's all they are. They're hustlers, they're grifters. They don't care anything about conservative policies. They don't care anything about conservative politics. They don't care anything about the deficit. All they care about is name recognition. They care about being seen. They care about wearing nice clothes and nice ties, being on CNN, being on MSNBC, being on Fox News, talking in front of a camera, pulling in a whole lot of campaign money, a whole lot of donor dollars that they can use to lace their own pockets with cash, ride around in limousines, and live the high life, live the life of a rapper or an actor or something like that. And they're in politics. But that's what it is. But I told people, when you see the likes of a Donald Trump achieve the highest office in the land, the presidency, you're going to see a lot of these charlatans come out the woodwork and be like, hey, if he did it, why can't I do it? Hold up. If that guy was president, you mean to tell me I can't be mayor? I don't have any background in politics. Who cares? I talk and people listen. I did something over here and people know me for that. So guess what? I'm going to use that fame to parlay that into a political career where I can make a bunch of money for nothing. They see some of these buffoons who go in Congress. I remember a lady years ago told me, she said, some of these people go to Congress. They're there for 4 years. And then it just seems like they just stay there, like they could never leave. And that is what it is. They get that apparatus. You know, they learn how the game goes and they win election after election after election, even though they're garbage. And it happens on both sides. Democrats do it. We have Democrats who are horrible at their job, but they have the apparatus, so they keep it. They win election after election after election. We have Republicans who are horrible at their jobs, but they have the apparatus and they win election after election after election after election. When does it stop? Will it ever stop? But Caitlyn Jenner, she wants to get in the mix on that because she knows a good thing when she sees it, right? She like, hey, people money for nothing and the chicks are free. Why don't I want to be a part of that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we about to wind it up. But before we do, let me do my IPA of the week. And this right here is something very special. It's from Great Lakes. This is their Christmas Ale. Now, this right here is the bomb. A friend of mine, my dude, Metaphors, he was on the internet one year, and he was talking about this and talking about how good it was, and I got some, and I posted a picture to him, and he was like, yeah, enjoy, you know what I'm saying? But he was talking about how good it is, and it is delicious, man. This Christmas ale, it's seasonal. It obviously only comes out at Christmas, hence the name, but it is really, really delicious. It said, do not open till Christmas. Whoever coined that phrase obviously hasn't tasted Christmas ale's fresh honey, cinnamon, and ginger flavors. Yeah, man. Yeah. I would agree. This goes extremely hard. The alcohol content, don't let me lie to you now. What is it? 7.5, ladies and gentlemen. 7.5. So that does not disappoint. That is very hoppy. That is very delicious, very tasty. So if you got a little bit of money in your pocket, run out and get you some of this Christmas ale from Great Lakes. I want to say Great Lakes is in Cleveland. And people have been telling me that you can take a little tour of the Great Lakes brewery. And they got like a restaurant there and all that stuff. I've toured the Gordon Biersch brewery that we have here in Columbus. And that was amazing. But I really want to go to this Great Lakes brewery. A friend of mine, Profess, rest in peace. That brother has passed on. Some of y'all know I had made a beer with him, you know, or there was a beer that he was making. I was helping promote it. Black Star Beer. We was in that together. And he turned me on to Great Lakes, actually, because Burning River was his favorite beer. He loved Great Lakes Burning River. And that's one of my favorite beers now, too. I love Great Lakes Burning River. But that makes me think of Profess. Rest in peace, Profess. Great Lakes makes a great beer. And this Christmas ale goes super hard. So that is my time. So what can I say? This is Urban Politics, where politics lives. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. I've been doing my Urban Politics bites. And people is eating that up, so to speak, on Instagram and on TikTok. Been making a lot of moves over there on TikTok, getting some followers, getting some love. You know what I'm saying? People checking out the Urban Politics and digging it. So that is what it is. So once again, please like and subscribe. Tell a friend. And as always, see you around like a donut.